Welcome to the Undrafted, Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome everyone to Undrafted, Uncensored, where we are way more reliable than the CU Buffs offensive line. That's for damn sure.
I would say only reliable because I'm in charge of the sound and going live right now.
Wow. Wow.
Hit the post. Try.
Hit the post. And still, I'm getting
right away.
Feet on.
Right away. Got it.
Wow.
Just like riding a bike. No issues. No repeat. No nothing.
Hey, I didn't repeat it. I saw the little arrows right there. I'm like, oh, let's click that first. So there's no repeat. Huh.
But music played right away. It went live in the first try when the music played. Just saying.
Yeah,
we're off to a good start. We're off to a good start.
We're back. You have to go to another tab though to have the live go live on that one as well as on this page.
Well,
and then have it replay.
No, you didn't.
It's like my iPod 7 replay.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't have to, did you?
But I still got it in the first try. Either way.
Oh, yeah.
We're live. We're back.
Yeah.
We're here.
Everything's back to normal. We're yelling at each other just because. And, yeah. I mean, we're back to football. And as you can tell by the title, episode 164, week 1, and we are spelling it W-E-A-K. Not a typo. Not a typo. I don't know if you watched that Broncos game, but if you didn't, week 1 is what we're going to call it because that was a pretty terrible showing offensively.
It was kind of a weak one, yeah.
Yeah. Defensively, I mean, we got what we expected out of our defense, which was a solid performance. They kept the Titans, who got a lot of short field because of turnovers, to 3 points most of the time. That game could have been a lot worse.
They were who we thought they were.
Or they kicked them out of field goal range so they couldn't get 3 points, which was a huge turning point in the game at the end there because Titans had a chance to take the lead. Broncos were reeling on offense, and getting them out of field goal range really felt like it gave the Broncos some momentum, much needed momentum.
Yeah.
Although, if it was a smaller lead, do you think Sean Payton makes the stupid decision to go for it on 4th and 8 and pin it back? Or do you think he actually just punts it because it's more likely that they actually drive down the field now and score than he was talking about how, the most likely way they could do this is with like a scoop and score, and we didn't want that. Do you just not trust the punter? Is that really it? Or do you not trust Will Lutz?
You mean the punter they drafted?
He's like 55. They clearly don't trust somebody in special teams, at least subconsciously, because I know he said we had to play. We liked the play. We knew what they were going to be in. So we had to play and we liked it. Great. Why are we doing that on fucking week 1? Now everyone from weeks 2 through 18 and the playoffs, hopefully, are going to have this play on tape. They're going to know this is what you want to do in a do or die situation, and the opposing team is in zero blitz. I really hate that concept of going for it right there. And maybe it is just Sean Payton's hubris, just saying I like the play, and he's an offensive guy, and he just kind of didn't think about anything else, and he kind of flies by the seat of his pants. But man, that was bad.
Well, the problem is there's multiple problems, there with it. But the Broncos brought in Darren Rizzi to be your special teams coordinator to amp up the special teams. He is supposed to fix these things. Crawshaw hasn't been great. There's a lot left to be desired for someone that you drafted. You also have Will Lutz, who has a strong leg. You're kicking it home. Early on last year, he wasn't accurate, but that has changed. Early on 2 years ago when he first was here. he wasn't accurate, and that has changed dramatically. He's been way better than originally anticipated, because I was calling for him to be gone. I thought he was going to get Urban Meyered real quick. Get kicked while he's down and booted off.
The team.
That didn't happen. He proved himself, and he's proved to be very reliable over the last basically 2.5 seasons, or 1.5 seasons, excuse me. So I don't know if he doesn't trust Darren Rizzi, if Darren Rizzi doesn't trust these guys, but for you to be worried and be living in the shadows of the past of maybe a blocked field goal from Kansas City last year, then what is Rizzi doing? Why does he have that job?
Yeah.
If you're not trusting the special teams to even kick a field goal at that point in time, when your defense has played spectacularly, there should be no reason for you not to at least trust your defense and try and put some points on the board offensively and be kicking off to the other team. That's where the real issue, I think, lies, is that where is the trust? Because if it's only in, like, Bo Nix did nothing to earn any trust in that game.
No.
Like, Sean Payton, when he came out and said, we're not going to do this week-to-week Bo Nix ranking thing or where he's at as far as ahead of schedule or in everything. I was like, bro, you brought that upon yourself, saying he's going to be a top 4 quarterback in this league, or top 5, whatever it was. I don't know. But Bo Nix did not instill a lot of confidence. In that game, I had more confidence in Will Lutz than I did in Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Yeah. To quote the Jack Nicholson Joker, hubba, 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 who do you trust?
I mean, I don't know if you could hear it from the crowd. I mean, when they didn't go for the field goal, it was just like there was like a frustration amongst everybody, because it just, like you said, trust your defense. They've bailed you out this whole game already anyway. Just trust your defense, because, I mean, you're still not establishing the run. Yeah, they had more runs, but you're still not establishing a run. And you went into this preseason, you gave your starting offense game 1 and game 3, and you had to send them back out in the third game because they couldn't score a touchdown. Well, there's a common denominator here, and it may not be the offensive players themselves. Maybe it's what you're doing. Call me crazy.
You're crazy.
Thank you.
Anytime, buddy.
Well, and I heard this analogy too the other day. I can't remember what I was listening to, but Sean Payton. So there's differences in the West Coast system, and one of them is personnel groupings and running a lot of different looks with groupings. And there are other systems like Shanahan's where it's the same group and same look, but different not schemes. Oh man, why am I losing
responsibilities?
Responsibilities, but it's so you have basically it's the same groupings that go in and out and are in there all the time. So you don't know who's running what from what route tree.
Yeah.
They might be lined up a little bit differently here and there, but you run multitudes of the same plays. And I think part of it is a lot of that other groupings is, while Sean might be trying to find something that works, he's not letting any of these guys get in any sort of flow of the game. We saw that even with Marvin Mims giving up on that one play where he ran the route very soft. He knew he wasn't getting the ball, and he wasn't dialed into the fact that he needed to run his route to make it a decoy like for Brandon Marshall. What?
Yeah,
Wow.
for Demaryius Thomas.
Oh my goodness, I don't know why. There was a Brandon Marshall thing on the other day.
For Mark Jackson?
Yeah.
No, well, it wasn't Brandon Marshall, but they were. I was watching John Gruden's unboxing. And he was talking about Brandon Marshall. I was like, which Brandon Marshall are you talking about?
I did the same thing. I was like,
because he was going through linebackers, and then he said Brandon Marshall. I was like, wait, which Brandon Marshall are we talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to get open for Haven Moses.
Yes, but for Cortland Sutton, and so that caused the pick. And I just, when you guys, maybe it's a lack of health on Marvin Mims' part, but these guys aren't getting into a flow. I know for me, baseball is bit of a different animal. But
it is
if I'm going in one inning and going out one inning, it's a lot different. The worst part is when you're batting, if you're batting AB batters, where you can in men's leagues and different stuff, where you bat one time and then the next time around the other person bats, and then the third time through it's your turn. That's like you can't get in any sort of rhythm. And even if it's 8 batters in between you, there's still a rhythm to that. But then you're waiting 16, 17 batters for you to hit again. And it's hard to stay locked in. And I think it's a lot of the same for a lot of the sports. And I can see this happening even in the NHL with like fourth liners who might not get as much ice time. Yeah, you got to be ready, but it's hard to be ready when you're not consistently out there. In hockey, they get a little bit more play. But for these guys on offense, I also really believe Evan Ingram getting hurt threw a huge wrench in all of the plans for that game. I think Ingram was going to be a huge part of the game plan, and that really hurt the Broncos, him being out for the game early on.
Yeah, well, it was the second half, though, when he left, wasn't it?
No, it was the first half.
It was pretty early.
Yeah. I think it was like first quarter. It was after like an Nate Atkins catch or Lucas Kroll catch.
I don't know why it just felt later.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like the first quarter.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I mean, I remember it happening because it was right in front of me when I did, but it just felt like it was like in the third quarter. But I could be wrong.
It could have been early third quarter. I could see that, but I remember him leaving. Yeah, I want to say like closer to halftime. I thought first half though, but let's see. When's the last catch? But I can see that to an extent. Him wanting to be a big role, and with Sean Payton, he's always going to alternate his personnel constantly because he's always done that. He's come out and said multiple times that he loves the idea of catching the opposing defense in a like a base package or a nickel package or whatever, so he can get a mismatch. So he will switch out guys that do the same thing just to get them to switch and mess with them. And he's done that for years. He did it a ton last year. We saw guys in and out of the lineup. That's why you'd see, my guy, little Jordan Humphrey, out there, and then sometimes not, because he loves that chess match of messing with the opponent's defensive coordinator and trying to get a mismatch. And I don't necessarily agree that the benefits that you get from that are better than the benefits that you get from muscle memory and from just being good at something, being in a rhythm, like you guys say. Like you see it a lot in basketball too, when someone gets hurt and all of a sudden a bench player has to come play with the starters, and it just does not. Like Peyton Watson, he does not always fit perfectly with all of the starters in that kind of thing, especially on offense. Fantastic player, totally can work, but needs a little bit of, time to get used to the way everything works, depending on which position he plays too, because he can go 2, 3, or 4. So you see guys coming in, they don't get a rhythm. They alternate Harvey and J.K. Dobbins after Harvey's big run, and then Dobbins gets the big touchdown, which is cool. Everyone's fresh and stuff, but and everyone's healthy to an extent. But, man, it doesn't feel like anyone really gets used to anything or gets into a rhythm. And stuff like that can lead to mental mistakes, like Marvin Mims forgetting that it's a clear out route, that he needs to sell that. Otherwise, the other guys won't have the space to operate. And if he sells it good enough, he's open and Bo might throw it. But generally, quarterbacks are not supposed to throw those routes. Well, so, yeah, I get why Sean Payton does it, and I don't think he will ever change. He's been doing it for his entire career, and he said multiple times that that's what he likes to do. I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about creating mismatches, but you can create all the mismatches you want. But if the plays aren't working, then who the hell cares if it's a mismatch?
Yeah. Man, look at the mismatch we had on that incomplete pass. It was awesome.
Speaking of someone who's always working, thank you for tuning in, Mr. Dan Jacobs. Appreciate you.
My guy, there he is. Long time no see. What's up, Dan?
Big shout out. 303 Law 4040. Not a sponsor, but good people.
There you go.
Hey, maybe one day, maybe he will sponsor our show. Who knows?
You never know, yeah. Don't know until you ask, right?
Yeah. What do we charge sponsors? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. There you go. First one was free, though, Dan.
First one
$5 million too much to ask for?
Yeah, just like Longmont Dairy Milk. First one's free.
Milk was a terrible decision.
Milk. It's what's for dinner. Bump, bump, bump.
I love that. Replacing other commercials with milk. That's great.
I can't find it. I'm tired of looking for it. Never mind.
Cool.
But the Broncos, I was going to say the Broncos are headed into this weekend against Indy, who last week they showed up against Miami. And I think it's part of Miami sucking and part of Indy playing well.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. I'm like, is Danny Dimes for real? Because he gets out of New York, and I don't know what it is about those quarterbacks. Once they get out of New York, they usually find themselves. And Danny Dimes looked like what they were expecting him to be, but it's also against the Dolphins, and that team has been rockier than the mountains after a mudslide. I mean,
that's to Dan Jacobs, Dolphins fan.
Now we're gonna crap on your team.
Yeah.
But so does that mean you're expecting a resurgence out of Russell Wilson as soon as he leaves the Giants?
No, he's well beyond that at this point.
He's the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
No, it's Ben DiNucci, or not DiNucci. Yeah.
No.
Danny
DeVito. Yeah. Or Jameis Winston.
Yeah, or Jameis.
Yeah, Jameis Winston.
They'll have a resurgence somewhere, but Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones always seemed to have some games. Where he used his legs. Unfortunately, he used his legs too much for me last week because I needed Jonathan Taylor to find the end zone. Asshole. He has that ability, and it's in a way a lot like Bo Nix is a lot like Daniel Jones.
Oh God!
Look at it, because of the way Bo Nix is gone. There have been games where it's like, what is going on? What is happening? And he's using his legs. Surprisingly, you don't expect it. None of us expected out of Bo Nix last year his ability to use his legs to the extent that he did. But Daniel Jones has those games where he all of a sudden blows up and everything is clicking. But then there are games, much like we just witnessed with Bo Nix last week, where it's like, what the hell is going on? Why can't you get anything going at all? Why is nothing at all working?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope that Bo Nix's ceiling isn't Daniel Jones-like. That wasn't one of my comparisons for sure, but it's a scary thought that could be the future, and it does show the necessity for the Broncos to have as great of a defense as possible for as long as possible, if that's what he's going to be as a quarterback.
Well, I mean, you can. I think too a little bit has to be with Sean Payton getting out of his own way too, because you don't always have to be the smartest man in the room. You know, you don't have to show off all the time. Let's dumb this down a little bit, because he's still learning this offense, and I'm not taking away from Bo's intelligence, but this is a different game than college. This is faster paced. And your play calls are so goddamn complicated anyway that you're lucky if you're getting lined up with 3 seconds left on the snap clock. It's like, dude, let's stop trying to be a show off and let's just focus on winning. It's frustrating.
You could see the frustration on Bo's face. Like,
yeah,
no, come on. Like, Chase Daniel even came out and said, like, man, you're not ready for a Sean Payton play call until you hear it.
I was gonna say, Joe, you said it earlier. Like, Sean's just not going to change his ways.
No,
I don't know what it's going to take for anything like that to happen, or for him to change the play calls, because we've heard it. We've heard his play calls, and then we've heard them in the hurry up drill, and it's one of those. Why do you got to make things so complicated?
Right?
Like, I just don't know. I just don't get it, and it frustrates me, because it's not that I think that Bo has a lack of talent. Do I think he's the most talented quarterback? No. But I think you have to give him a little bit more leeway, especially coming from a place in Oregon where their offensive talent was so far superior to most other teams that he could go out there and basically throw it to any of his guys and it would work. Here, you said it, Nick. It's different. It's the NFL game. All these guys are really damn good.
Yeah. And I mean, we hear it all the time. It's a different level. And so, if you're going to go out there and if you're going to create these plays, let's do everybody a favor in Broncos country. If Sean Payton's going to create a new play, create your new play. That's fine. When you're going to name it and create the call for it, listen to Avril. Avril said it best.
Mm-hmm.
Why you got to make things so complicated?
Yeah.
I see the way you're acting, and it's making me frustrated. Come on.
I have it right here too. Yep. It's you fall, you crawl, you break, and you take. You get what you get, and you turn it into honesty. I don't remember that part of the song. We had the same thought, Nick. That was great. I was literally waiting for Nick to finish so I could then read the lyrics to Avril Lavigne's Complicated.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Beautiful.
Sadly, I actually knew what they were. I don't know if that's good or not.
I Googled it.
It is what it is.
I listened to Weird Al
I didn't Google
as a kid, so all I can think of is, why'd you have to go and make me so constipated?
There it is. I mean, I don't know. It's you want to be excited because the defense gets you excited, but there comes a point too where they can't save you every game. Especially if you're going to be turning the ball over 4 times. You're gonna create some tension at some point. You're gonna get some anger. That locker room's gonna get explosive at some point because that's football.
Because football,
defense is going to tell the offense, do your goddamn job. I'm tired of being out there. I want to sit down for a minute and sip my Gatorade and go over tape, but I can't because I have to go out there and throw a 280-pound dude in front of me again for the 400th time.
True. Also, Nick, we had to make fun of Colin for typing just to keep things consistent.
I know. I can hear that keyboard. It's
that's that's what I get for not having. That's what I have for not having my microphone.
Exactly.
I was trying to figure out. I was trying to go to the clip of Major League. I couldn't figure it out, but the one where Charlie Sheen in Major League 2 where he has the eliminator pitch and then home dude from the Sox hits. He's like, how about you call it
masturbator,
the humiliator, the terminator, the eliminator, the out of this Parker.
Yeah.
Although I don't know
if you
if
you get a piece of it, you can rename it.
Yeah. If you hit it, you can name it, and he's running around the bases with it. That's like Sean Payton. If one of these guys stops your new play, they get to name it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's not going to have a very nice name. So guess what?
But it would be funny if you'd remember it and you'd still get to the line with 17 seconds left on the play clock to snap the ball or make a change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it feels like a lot of these plays are not that different. Like it's like Sean Payton going, hey guys, all right, I got this new look. It's called Blue Steel. Like they're not all the same, but like they're not that different to where like man, you're not reinventing the wheel. You're messing with the defense for sure. You're doing a lot of intricate things, switching out your formations to mess with them. But like at the end of the day, man, just play football. Just be good at what you do and then build off of that. Like there's a reason that play action works only when you run the ball, because otherwise they're not going to believe you. You got to set them up in order to knock him down, I guess, to use bowling analogies. But like Von Miller would do that all the time because he had so many different pass rush moves. So he'd hit you with the same rush move, once or twice, and then boom, switch it and do the other thing, and you're not ready for it. You don't know what to do. So, it's like playing Wii baseball, and you hit them with the 2 mile an hour slow ball. They're not ready for it.
Oh, come on. They ran the ball 22 times.
Yeah, but that was situational. I think, they ran the ball to run the clock out. They weren't trying to establish a running game.
It was just sarcasm.
Yeah, I mean, the end of the game, the running game looked fine, obviously. But one thing I do think is that Sean Payton thinks he is setting up the future. Like he's setting up plays for the future. I think that's what he legitimately thinks, is that by him making these plays and doing these things now, it's setting up for the future at the end of the season. Where I have a completely different philosophy. My philosophy, yes, is getting there first, but it's also instill confidence in the offense by running things that work.
Yeah.
Over and over again, then adding in the new things. And because, when you're adding in so many new things, there becomes question marks all over the field because guys aren't completely sure. Guys are going to misrun routes. I mean, he got in Kroll's ear also in the middle of the game for not running the route right?
Yeah, because
we heard that on the broadcast.
Yeah, he found the spot in the zone. He didn't stop. He kept running the route like man, which you're not supposed to do. So maybe that's mental mistakes due to overcomplication.
Yeah, and I would much rather see, I started this off talking about the past Broncos teams and play calls. I'd much rather see a consistent few plays that they know will work, that even if they're run over and over again, they do set up other things, the play action, things that will work and work well and will cause the defense to jump. If Marvin Mims is running a clear out 3 times in a game, then all of a sudden the 4th time, he's wide open because the guys are jumping the route to Sutton.
Yeah.
And you have an easy touchdown. I don't care if you're running the same play over and over again. Derrick Henry up the middle. We saw how well that's worked. I mean, maybe it's Derrick Henry left, Derrick Henry right, Derrick Henry middle, left, right, middle, left, right, middle. Who cares? Up, down, left, right, left, right. If it works, it works.
Yeah, like Denzel Washington and Remember the Titans when he's explaining his philosophy to the other coach. I run 6 plays. Give them some time. They always work.
You have to get there. And I think Sean Payton is just very impatient with that. And he doesn't have the maybe long-term focus for that. I think he has too many things in a bigger picture view to focus on what one game or what that one game can really mean and what excelling in certain areas will do for your actual future. I think he wants to see everything excel all at once rather than getting really good at a few things.
Yeah, like he has this expectation that every play he creates is going to work.
No.
It's like you're not going to be good at everything, I can pick up a guitar and play it, but I can't play the drums. I'm not coordinated enough. I mean, there are things that are just not going to work for you.
And guess what? In a few weeks, when you have to face Vic Fangio's defense, he's seen it all. You ain't creating nothing new.
Oh,
and he's going to want to beat you anyway. So you already, he's already watching film.
Oh, ain't no doubt about it.
He's getting all the meatballs and the pasta.
All the meatballs.
He doesn't really know the hockey players' names. But you have to just do what works, because then defensive coordinators like Vic Fangio will pick you apart. They'll see through what you're doing, or they'll just not care. And they'll let you do all of your little misdirection things and just be ready for whatever you happen to be doing. I really would like to establish some kind of consistency. And it doesn't have to be from the running game. If you want to consistently be a quick passing offense, then you know what? Have it work. Have it move the ball down the field. If you're going to call all these RPOs instead of just runs, then those passes need to be completed.
They're not even RPOs, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, Sean Payton and Bo Nix said they're calling a bunch of pass option stuff where at the line of scrimmage, you kill the play or you play the actual play. It's not like the Nick Foles where he's making a read and then doing a run pass option. It's like at the line of scrimmage, he decides to do the run or the pass. And it sounds like he's choosing the pass, but maybe don't have that as an option as much. I don't know, man.
It's a PO with a sprinkle of R in it.
Yeah.
Because it's pass only.
Yeah.
It's a pass only. They're not calling run plays out of it. And that might be part of Bo Nix's development, having to see that better, see the opportunity to run the ball or have faith in the running game. Last year shouldn't have last year definitely didn't help him in the running game, but the Broncos brought in J.K. Dobbins and drafted R.J. Harvey to improve this running game. And if you're going to improve the running game, you need to let them have opportunities. So maybe that needs to be Sean Payton. Like, don't give them RPOs. Just you're running the damn ball. But
absolutely.
Once again, we know Sean Payton has to write that on his Cheesecake Factory play call sheet.
Yeah, I think here at the Fan we should, because we did the James Marietta as a clown T-shirts. We should just sell T-shirts with a sticky note that says "Run the ball."
Right.
I think it would sell. But yeah, so you're saying, Colin, in order to improve the running game, you have to run.
Yeah,
I'm gonna write that down. Hold on.
You should. I mean, it's pretty groundbreaking stuff,
dude. You're like Sean Payton. You're inventing the wheel.
Here's the running stats that the Broncos had Sunday. R.J. Harvey had 8 attempts for 70 yards. His average was 11.7 yards, and his longest was 50. That was actually a badass run.
Yes.
J.K. Dobbins, 16 carries for 63 yards, 3.9 average, 19 was his longest, and he had a touchdown.
Which was, I think, that 19-yard run.
And then Bo Nix had 8 rushes for 18 yards. So, again, 22 rushing plays. 22.
And that's probably less considering how many times did Bo scramble on a pass play that was called as a pass play, and Bo had to.
And that's why I'm not counting his 8 rushes.
Oh, you're not counting his 8
No,
rushes.
that's between Dobbins and Harvey. 16 and 6 is 22.
Okay. Yeah, that's not enough. You're going to have to give guys. And I guess if you're getting big touchdown runs, it is, but they weren't. And they weren't getting consistent offensive production. And yeah, the defense was keeping them in the game and playing phenomenal. But you can't expect that every week. Like the 2015 Broncos is not something that you can plan for. You can't expect to be a defense that basically carries your offense, that does just enough to put points on the board and not turn the ball over. Like that, they tried to do it in 2016 and they couldn't do it. So I don't like that. As it almost feels like they're just sorry, the defense is awesome. They're going to hold them. For now, but how long does that really last?
So going through this on their last 3 drives, not including the kneel down, there were 7, 8, 9. Excuse me. So there were in their last 3 drives, not including the last one, where they kneeled down, there were 9 running plays in those 3 drives. Really? That includes, so that's starting from R.J. Harvey's 50-yard run. Before that, we're talking the 4th quarter.
Yeah, that's why Colin and I were saying they were never establishing a run. They were just running, but situational football. They didn't run the clock out. That's crazy. 9 of their 22 runs came in their last 3 drives.
So they had 13 runs through 3 quarters. You should be looking at trying to get, you get the ball twice a quarter, 6 runs to 10 runs a quarter, rushes, at least attempts, right? Because if you're getting the running game going, you're going to be you should be churning some first downs. And that includes QB sneaks, short yardage, which the Broncos aren't in because they're not establishing an early down presence where they can gain yards. They're starting behind the sticks once again, it feels like every single time they have the opportunity to move the ball. And that has to change. And I don't care if it's a rotation between Dobbins and him and it's Dobbins and Harvey. And if it's one drive to the other, at least those guys know it's one drive to the other. Or you ride the hot hand. I don't care what it is, but you need to get those guys in there consistently and running the ball consistently. Because if it wasn't for that 50-yard run, you know what? And you know what Bo Nix did or what happened right after that 50-yard run? They try to pass.
Yeah.
You just gash them for 50 yards, and then you're trying to throw.
Take what they're giving you. Because they
know he's trying to catch him off balance with a pass, the thing he does all the time that no one will ever be caught off balance by.
Which is why I keep saying he's his own worst enemy because he's trying to be the smartest man in the room. Just stop. Football is not a difficult sport. Yeah. It doesn't take much thinking to do. You got a 50-50 shot of guessing whether it's a run or a pass. And in this case, you got a 90 to 10% chance of knowing it's a pass or a run.
Right. But Joe, you even mentioned it earlier, and I meant to say this. If you're going to use the short game, it's much like the running game. So pass out to the short left, pass out to the short right. I don't care. Like, use that passing game, the screen game, as an extension of it. Because we do know J.K. Dobbins can catch the ball out of the backfield. R.J. Harvey can also. Tyler Bidet, yeah, you're probably not playing because you can't catch the ball after last week. Jaleel, you better have your hands on you because you're going to have some opportunities this week. But use that as an extension. If you're going to do that, then at least you have something there. But the Broncos don't even do that. And when it didn't work early, it felt like Sean didn't even go back to it again. There were probably another 2 or 3 screen passes in the game, but it wasn't impactful. And none of these guys are Alvin Kamara or Reggie Bush or Warwick Dunn. Like none of these guys are those guys that he had in New Orleans.
And you're not going to find guys like that every draft.
No,
those guys are generational players. You know, there's a reason why you haven't found another Alvin Kamara since.
Yeah, but you got to try and get something established.
Yeah, you have to want to run the ball. Yeah. It really does come down to like a play calling philosophy. Like, we saw that a whole bunch because we saw it from Gary Kubiak as an offensive coordinator with John Elway and as a head coach with Peyton Manning, how he wanted to run the ball. He wanted to get those big gains because he knew what it set up. Like, the amount of times that we had a 2nd and 1 and everybody and their mother who's watched the Broncos for a good amount of time can say, Kubiak's doing a play action and he's going to go deep. And it's going to be sick. Yeah. And then it would still work.
Yeah.
It's crazy because, again, the defenders have been watching Broncos football for 20 years like we have. They're studying teams every week. But, like, you have to want to, you have to want to win. I guess you have to want to do the things that work. And you can tell that Sean Payton, he doesn't want to do that. He wants to win, with a guy like Drew Brees, throwing the ball 1 million times a game and being extremely efficient and accurate and consistent. And like, I hear a lot of the stuff of people saying the game has passed Sean Payton by. I don't think so. I think the game has caught up to Sean Payton. I think this is how Sean Payton always wanted the game to be, which was passing this much. And now the league has turned into a way more passing league, but I think he's going too far with it. You still have to do something. Like, part of the reason that his offense was still effective later on is because guys like Alvin Kamara. It's because you can afford to throw it that many times when you have a safety valve like Kamara and your screen plays. You have so many other things that activate as like a supplement to the running game. I'd love to see a quick slant to Cortland Sutton or to one of the fast guys to maybe break out for a big touchdown, or just get 4 or 5 yards to Sutton or Bryant or whoever you put over there. I would love to see not like a Demaryius Thomas naked screen, but like just some quick out in the flats passes, some fun screen passes. Hell, a tight end screen. That'd be dope, even if it's to Lucas Krull this week. Evan Ingram's nursing.
Ingram's playing.
Ingram is playing, but I was going to say, put Sutton and Bryant out on the edge and then throw it out to Franklin or Mims on that bubble screen. And you got 2 big-bodied wide receivers to block.
Yes. Trent Sherfield is really good and known as a blocker. So you want to fuck with people? Throw the screen pass to Trent Sherfield. They're like, that guy. No, he's a great blocker. He held once. Yeah, I'm sure Lil Jordan Humphrey held plenty of times too, who's maybe a better – he's a bigger guy. Sherfield's a better player, though. You can do things to mess with the opponents. You can – like, giving any kind of screen pass or any kind of space to Marvin Mims sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just – it's frustrating that we have to have the same conversation over and over again. The Broncos are in a spot now. I mean, they showed marked improvement. They did what they were supposed to do last year. They beat teams they were supposed to beat. They beat a few teams they probably shouldn't have beaten, but they got themselves into a wild card spot. They got worked by the Buffalo Bills. And so when you start winning, you start playing better teams. And now you have to start stepping up a little bit more. You have not only do your players have to grow, you as a coach have to grow too. And that includes your play calling and your scheming. You have to start realizing what's working, what's not. You can't keep going to the well, because then you end up like Pat Shurmur and you're up in Boulder trying to coach an offense and you're getting beat by the University of Houston by 16 points because you ran the football 12 times.
I thought you were going to say you end up like Timmy and you get stuck in the well.
I know we want to go to this, but we got to do a prediction for the Broncos.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
That was a great transition. It was. But I hate to go back. We got we got to get this game against Indy in here real quick.
You're good. I got a little carried away.
it was fantastic, and I'm sorry. I gotta.
Do we want to try to do a season prediction like we've done before? I assume we were all probably going to pick the Broncos over the Titans anyway. Do we want to try to pick the season? Do we have time, or should we wait for
next week? Yeah, we might be. Are we all? So I guess the thing for this is, do we think this is going to be a closer game this week than we originally thought?
Yes.
Or do we think that the Broncos are still going to blow them out, and why?
No, I think this is going to stay. This is going to be a close game. This is going to be like last week all over again. The defense is going to have to bail the offense out. The Colts have a better offense than the Titans. They have a seasoned play caller under center. So it's going to be a little bit more of a fight. You can't turn the ball over 4 times. And I'm pretty sure Bo's already heard a whole bunch of the negativity. So I'm sure he's going to clean his game up a little bit now that he knows that the shit's serious. So I'm going to say Broncos are going to win. I'm going to still keep it a close game, though. I'm thinking 24-17.
Yeah, I never thought it was going to be a blowout to begin with. You had a better chance of being a blowout if it was going to be Anthony Richardson. But, like, the Broncos offense is not proven they can be consistent enough. And I think the Colts defense has some holes you can exploit, but they also have a pretty good fucking secondary. So I think it can still end up being very close. I could see this one going a little bit more barn burnery than the Titans game, but I don't know, man. I feel like Jonathan Taylor, the consistency, Daniel Jones is a good runner also, so that's something to be concerned about with the Broncos not stopping the run much last year, although they did well against the Titans. Yeah, I don't mind 24-17. I almost want to say, like, maybe it's even closer than that, like 27-24, even like 27-21. Like, we'll stop them from that last touchdown at the very end of the game type deal. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'll take the Broncos for now, for sure, because I felt like those first 2 games were games that were going to win. I just wasn't super confident by how much.
I am going to be a little bit opposite of you guys, and not just contrarian because to be contrarian, but I do think that this defense causes a lot of trouble for Daniel Jones. I talked about it earlier. He has a propensity to have really bad games. And what that I think will do will provide the Broncos offense some spark. And the Broncos spark will come from shorter fields and even possibly a defensive touchdown. I think it's going to be something like a 31-10, 31-13 type of game. And the Broncos establish the running game for sure in the fourth quarter here because they have all the right to run the ball and Sean Payton doesn't have to pass it. But I do think that this one is still led by the defense. I'm not 100% sold on the offense being the reason why it's 31-10. But I think that the Broncos do win in a big way because a defense like this against Daniel Jones, they should wreak havoc. I mean, they got 6 sacks last week against Cam Ward. And, yeah, Indy's better. Daniel Jones is more seasoned. But you got a great secondary who covers guys all day. So give me the Broncos big.
All right, folks. You heard it here first. Nick got to Colin. He's got the orange-colored glasses. He's choosing the Broncos in blowouts. Really, it's wonderful. I'm happy.
We're back.
Real quick, speaking of touchdowns, when I was at the game with my brother, I was about ready to tweet out, defense is going to score the first touchdown for the Broncos. I told him, I sat there and I told my brother, I'm like, watch, defense is going to score the first touchdown. Very next play. The Broncos scored their first touchdown. I was like, ooh, oops. That tweet would not have aged well.
I had money on that last week too.
Did you?
Broncos first TD of the game, just because it was Cam Ward. I mean, it was worth it with the kickoff. I didn't really realize how hurt Mims was, but we got other hurt going on here in Colorado.
Well, I mean that hurt was in Houston at least. It wasn't in Boulder, so there's the nice long plane ride back.
That probably hurt.
Does that make it better? I think that makes it worse.
I mean, there's obviously quarterback controversy already going on up in Boulder. There's 3 teams right now. You're either Juju, Staub, or crap, I forgot his name now.
The other guy, Caden Salter.
Yeah, Salter. Thank you. He was the original starter. Stupid.
Nick's
just poured salt on his wounds, Nick.
Yeah, Fowler Nicolosi. That's all I need to know.
That's it. Yeah, their quarterback is Braden Fowler Nicolosi. 3 names.
I mean, you watch them all 3 play, and let me ask you guys a question because I've been pondering this myself. Is some of the problems the Buffs are having right now because Prime was going through his cancer treatments and wasn't in Boulder to actually see what was going on? I'm not making an excuse. I'm just we're doing a lot of summertime football stuff right now. It feels like.
I think the problem is that Prime doesn't have the same type of confidence in these guys as he did in Travis Hunter and Shedeur.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have those guys that he was going to roll out no matter what. And good or bad, those guys were rolling out there, which is why in our last show I said they need to make a decision to go with Juju sooner than later because he's your guy who's going to be there for the long run. And, this year might not look great. We've all heard the story. Well, I've heard the stories, I guess, that he's not completely ready, that he isn't recognizing things. Well,
yeah, I've heard that too.
You recognize it by playing, and you learn and you grow from playing. You're not going to learn from sitting on the bench behind guys who, no offense, one had no offers to any other Division I schools, and the other one was a transfer to Liberty. From Liberty. He led them to a bowl game. But you know what? The Buffs were in a bowl game too last year, and we're not holding and planting a flag. We are retiring jerseys, but we aren't planting a flag over that bowl game that they were in last year. So these guys, your future, your next 3 years, or this year and then the next 2, most likely are with Juju. So I think that he has to bite his bullet and, bite the bullet and go play him. Like, you have to put him in and go. I don't think there's any other way to go about it. Maybe he wasn't there to see it all, but he's also the guy who recruited these guys. And I understand him wanting to give these other guys a chance. But at a point, you have to say enough is enough. We have to get this. We have to get this thing set up for the long-term future. Because this year is lost. You have 2 losses. The season is effectively over, besides the chance at a bowl game.
Yeah. You're not going to win. You're not going to win your conference.
No.
You're not going to make the playoffs.
Did any of us actually expect that?
What's that?
Did any of us actually expect that, though? Like, them to really be a playoff team?
But Prime did.
Oh, Prime expects a lot out of a lot of things, though.
Yeah,
it's frustrating to watch because it seems like they're doing they're making the same mistakes week in and week out, and I don't know if it's just me, but when I was watching the game last night, they're not sealing the edge. These running backs are getting around them and they're getting to the sideline and they are just taking complete advantage of open grass. And I mean, we've all lived through the Pat Shurmur experience once, and here we go again. And again, you have 12 carries out of your backfield. Ryan Staub had 11, but again, some of that's probably from trying to save his ass by trying to keep from getting sacked.
Yeah, he had a few
or throw over the line of scrimmage. That was cool too.
Yeah, that was sweet. Yeah, that one where he dove over a guy. It's like if Brett Rippon tried to run. Is what it looked like.
I mean, I was also going to say, how many times did he get sacked trying to run and trying to escape the pocket? And that's also part of not having a good fundamental offensive philosophy.
Yeah.
Because if going into halftime, that was fool's gold with the way they got that the last score. I think that when you sit here and look at it, these guys, Prime, you gave them the chance that you needed to, and they've proven to you that they're not going to be any sort of future. You don't want these guys maybe you want them hanging around as backup quarterbacks next year, but you have to start preparing for next season right now.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe he's starting to come to the realization that I feel like I've had for a while, that I think the biggest problem, there's been a lot of problems, I can't see the problem, but I think the biggest problem, at least on offense, is the Pat Shurmur offense. Like, he's not quite as bad as Sean Payton in terms of not calling runs, but he's not much better. His offense is more vanilla, so it's easier to understand. That doesn't make it work better. And with Pat Shurmur as the coordinator, I don't know if either quarterback can function in that offense better than Ryan Staub. And he's not like that good. It's just that his play style fits the Pat Shurmur, just standard 3 wide receivers, get the ball out quick, maybe have some running backs do something. So I wonder if it's better off for a guy like Juju to not have to play under Pat Shurmur and not kind of get ruined before he has a chance to really go. You know, I don't think he's going to quite get David Card, but we've seen guys get put in too early. But it's not just getting put in too early. If you get put in too early to a stupid offense,
but see, you put him in to get
that's going to help.
You put him in to have the whole Pat Shurmur experience, so he appreciates how good it is once Pat Shurmur is gone.
I like it, and then it shows unequivocally that Pat Shurmur needs to be fired. And we talked about it on Dan's show today, and a texter came in with a good idea because Dan had a good point. He's like, "Well, fuck, if they fire Pat Shurmur, who do they have? Like, what offense do they run?" And
they had T.O. on the sideline.
Byron Leftwich.
Yeah.
They literally have a quality.
Yeah, they do have Byron.
Yeah, you just go Byron Leftwich. I don't know if he has an offense that he can run or if he can just use the Pat Shurmur offense, but call it less dumb. Just call some run plays, call some quick passes, make it work. Then maybe you see Juju be able to function. And maybe it is just better to wait. You know, maybe Juju's Jordan Love. And you want to, give him an Arch Manning year. I'm trying to think of better like college football.
Yeah. Maybe he is Jordan Love, but the question is, will he hang around? Jordan Love didn't have an option but to hang around.
That's true.
Behind Aaron Rodgers.
But Coach Prime is such a magnetic personality. I feel like he got Caden Salter to come over to an offense that can't function with Caden Salter. Like, Caden Salter is the best quarterback they have in that room right now, but they can't run an option offense that he can function well in. So you end up going to probably the third best quarterback in the room because at least he's a regular quarterback. Yeah. He can just stand there and, do his job. He's the regular point guard in the NBA that almost doesn't exist anymore. Like, that's the situation you're in now. This is the bed that you've made. You have to lay in it.
Yeah. I mean, Buffs have a week off, so
this is where the change comes.
They need to really just kind of set themselves up and take the week and get yourselves right and just move on. Just start moving forward and listen to Colin when it comes to, making bets.
There you go.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, it's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin just kind of winging it.
That's right. Welcome into the victory formation where we make real bets with fake money. And I have an update. I have everything caught up from when we took our little sabbatical. The last round of bets, I'm not going to go through them all, but I will say Nick went a perfect 3-0. Joe went a perfect 0-3.
Nice.
And I went 1-2. So Nick had a lead coming into this week. He was at 423.6. I was at 389.01. And Joe, you were down at 216.72, a fall far from grace from where you were a while ago. But can he turn it around? That is the question everyone is asking. And we do have a perfect score this week. We'll start off with the first game of the week. That was the Red Sox versus the D-backs. Sunday late afternoon baseball because they didn't want to compete with week 1 of the NFL.
Smart.
Red Sox dominated in Arizona. Nick's the only one who couldn't pick the Red Sox, meaning Joe and I both won 1909. We move on to the Packers and Lions game, which was the highlight game of the afternoon, or was supposed to be the highlight game of the afternoon. We saw the Packers really dominate the Lions. Maybe Aaron Rodgers Jordan Love owns the Lions, much like Aaron Rodgers owned the Bears in that division. So Joe, Nick and I both got that right. Joe loses $10. We all chose the Bills, and it wasn't a curse. Maybe the time off broke the curse.
That game.
It looked like they were going to lose, but they came back. What a great Sunday night football game it was. So we all won 20-50 there because the Bills were home underdogs to open the season. And then Joe and I both picked the Vikings to beat the Bears, and that was correct. Meaning this week I was a perfect 4-0, winning 75-61. Joe in second place, winning 47-92. Nick in third, 18-19. Totals right now in first. I've moved into first place at 464-62. Nick in second, 441-79. Joe in third, 264-64. So if there's anything you can put 64 on, you should probably bet that. We'll get into this week's picks as we start off. It doesn't really matter what I say in this one because the first one is Sunday Night Baseball. And we already know it's Yankees, Red Sox. So Nick is taking the Yankees. Joe, who you got? Red Sox are favorite at minus 157. Yankees underdogs at plus 128.
Okay. I want you to be like, it doesn't matter what I say here. So, let's go Red Sox. It worked last time, so it probably won't this time.
I am also going the Red Sox because my under 92.5 wins prop bet preseason is looking pretty good for the Yankees with 11 or 12 games to go.
As reason as any.
Red Sox this weekend.
I got a pretty good chance. We move on to Sunday night football. We have the Falcons playing the Vikings. Minnesota favorite at minus 175. Falcons underdogs plus 145. Joe, who you got?
This one I feel like could be sneaky, but I'm going to stick with the Vikings, who are a better team. But they've got some injuries, and the Falcons are young and dumb and might not know any better, so they could fuck around and win. But I'm going to stick with the Vikings.
I am going to also go with the Vikings. Their defense, I think, started to figure out later on. I don't know where either of these two rookie quarterbacks basically are, but give me the Vikings at home. Nick, who you got?
It's a kind of a tough choice. I'm gonna go opposite just to be that guy. I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
See, Nick, we could have swept it and all been right. I will say we got just a minute left for those of you on Instagram. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. If you don't get all the picks, you can find them all on YouTube, Facebook, or through our socials. So appreciate y'all on Instagram. I'll try and get through these last two. But we start with the Buccaneers visiting the Texans. Texans are a minus 135 favorite at home. Buccaneers plus 114 on the road. I feel like this is a huge trap game from Vegas. They're trying to have people put money on the Bucs because they looked really good last week. Give me the Texans at home, even with the less money or the worse odds. Nick, who you got?
Yeah, I don't know. This is like you said, feels very trap game, but I'm going to buy into the trap. Give me Tampa Bay.
Joe, who you got?
Well, to quote the mascot of Ole Miss, Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. I'm taking Tampa. Let's go.
Oh, thank goodness Joe didn't pick with me the whole time.
Oh, that would be great. Damn it. I didn't notice that.
We move on to the second of the Monday Night Football games. That is the Chargers facing the Raiders. Chargers minus 185 favorites on the road in Vegas and Vegas is plus 154. Nick, who you got?
No, Chargers all the way.
Joe, who you got?
Well, the Chargers are playing at home. It's the Chargers.
I am going to actually take the Raiders in this one because the Chargers are still traveling back from the overseas trip in Brazil. So I expect a little bit of lag on their end. The Raiders are better than I thought they were going to be from what they showed last week. And I think that the Chargers, like I said, they suffer from coming back into Denver and looking ahead at next week's game against the Broncos. So, that's where we sit. And, I think a lot of this stuff, we just send them out into space.
Sure.
Out into space is how we like to end this show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to Michael Spillane and everybody over at e5280sports.com for hosting us. Thanks, Joe, for getting in with the Denver Sports logo and advertising for them. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Without you, we couldn't do this. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll be back next week. Hopefully after another Broncos win. Go Denver Bears. And go Rockies. They only need one more win.
For what?
All they need is one more win to avoid the White Sox last year.
Yeah.
Why would you want that? We want them to lose. So that
my Knights made the finals. Made the finals.
And go Knights.
Good
Good night, everybody. Good night. Go Knights.